Hi guys, I'm gonna get straight into crocheting. I may wave in this video, but we're gonna do the month of November in this video. It may be choppy because I may do it in different sections and just put it all together. But anyway, we're gonna read some more Christmas stories because I'm still in the festive mood. The first one is pretty long. It's from r/BestofRedditorUpdates and it's titled "I Ran Away Christmas Morning." So the first post was originally posted in r/regretful parents, and it was posted on January 5th of 2023. And there's one update. FYI, I'm using a throwaway account since my husband follows the main one. It has taken me more than I want to admit to be able to make this post, but I hope maybe some other parents have been in a similar situation can use this to feel less alone. I'm a mother of three beautiful and smart children. After giving birth to my first child, I immediately regretted my decision. I realized I was not fit to be a mother and did not love my child as a mother should. My husband, a couple years after the first, convinced me to have another. I was at first extremely hesitant and did not want other children, but I decided that maybe this was a way to fix things and give my other child a chance to have a sibling. That, of course, did not work. My husband loves kids, and because we come from a culture that sees the more children the better, I gave in once again and I had my third. I realized more children didn't really change that much for me. I was already a mother after my first, and my life was already ruined back then. Now I don't want anyone to think that I am a bad mother. I am a great mother and fight to hide my depression every day. That is why one of the reasons I went all out this Christmas. I had suddenly gotten a flash of energy that I decided I wanted to use this Christmas. My husband loving my change in attitude and spending time with family was all game on having a huge Christmas family party, which included our parents, our siblings, and all of our children. We were a lot of people and most slept in our house on Christmas Eve. There were a lot of presents under the tree because of that. On Christmas morning, I woke up early than others to prepare breakfast, and I looked inside the living room and I just screamed, completely breaking down crying. All of the presents had been opened, the boxes were open, and the presents were scattered everywhere. I completely lost it, and that woke up the others. When the children saw, they started crying too. They had all been so excited for the many presents this year. The adults were in shock. Well, if you wonder who the culprit was, we quickly figured out that it was my youngest. He literally went downstairs with one of his open presents. They have recently entered a super defiant and curious age, and I know I can't blame them. But God, I hate them for what they did. I'm sorry, but I do. My husband's parents started lecturing me on how I should have been raising my child to not even think about doing things like this. My parents started arguing with my husband's parents. My children were screaming and crying, asking me, Mommy, will we not have presents? And stuff like that. My youngest was just looking at the scene innocently, and though they don't know it, made me extremely mad. I just lost it. I walked out of the house with my purse and my pajamas and just drove away. I went to a hotel and just stayed there for a couple of days and shopped, trying to process my feelings toward my children and just bawling my eyes out. I probably traumatized them. The whole time my husband and family had been blowing up my phone scolding me for just leaving. But I hadn't left to cool down. I don't know what I had done. But if I hadn't left to cool down, I don't know what I had done. I eventually went back home. The children seemed fine. Apparently, my husband had just handed them their open presents, and that took their minds off things. The rest of the family helped create a somewhat Christmas for all the children. I do feel bad for leaving. I feel like my kids are going to hate me for it when they grow up. My husband still resents me too. He said I failed as a mother and that he never thought I would do something like that to the kids or him. Maybe I overreacted. I just don't know. Something triggered inside of me. I don't think it was just because of the presents. This was about my whole motherhood. My family told me that someday I'll be able to look back on this and laugh, but I don't think so. I really don't think so. So I can't even look at my youngest right now. So that was the story, the original post. And this is, they have relevant comments from OP from the original post. I agree, family therapy would be best. My husband is just extremely against all stuff mental illness and family problems. He is very old school, but I will definitely talk about it again with him. In my culture, it is sadly very common for the mother to be the glue that holds it all together. Maybe if it had been my party too, it had been easier for me, but I don't know. It is not that often that our parents come over, but this year I really just wanted this big glossy family picture for some reason. It all just escalated. It was naive of me to think I could handle it. But I agree that as women, we are born in pain and carry the pain throughout our whole life. Birth in pain, carry the family on our shoulders in pain too. It is tough being a woman. He is very much not an emotional person, and I knew that. Our relationship has been distorted since we had children. I know he loves me as the mother of his children, but sometimes I worry he doesn't love me. He does tend to put the children before me always, which I have no problem with. It is understandable. But sometimes I feel like as if he puts the children first, even with small things like playing with them instead of helping me with dinner. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a bit selfish, but I really just wish he would want to spend time with me sometimes. He is also very traditional. The wife takes care of the kids, clean, and so on, which really developed ever since we got kids. He is a great father, though. Okay, this update came on January 11th, so it was like 6 days later. First of all, I want to say thank you to those who have commented such nice things and helpful advice. With you guys, I have finally been able to see clearly. For some, it might be stupid that an internet site completely changes one's mind, but I have had no friends, no strangers, and certainly no family telling me any of the things I have been told in this group about me, my family, and the particular situation that occurred Christmas morning. Honestly, it was a wake up call. Looking back at my life, I have started to notice the wrongful way I've been treated more and more by my husband, his family, and sometimes even mine. It has been almost as if I just have become used to my role as a mother and wife and therefore forgotten myself completely, forgotten my own needs and desires, and now I finally see just how unhappy I actually am. I'm not gonna lie. This last week has been hell. I've been reading the comments and bawling my eyes out late in the night on a chair on the porch while everyone was asleep. It was almost kind of catharsis in a way. I suggested going to family therapy to my husband, but he would hear none of it. He wouldn't put the kids in it, and he claimed the only one who needed therapy was me. It was like talking to a wall. And when the argument got really heated, he did something that changed my view of him forever. It made me realize that I don't even know this man anymore and that I needed to get the F out, even though he apologized profusely. I went to my parents' house again, bawling my eyes out, and told them everything that had happened. My mom cried with me, and my father had an aura of sadness around him. Of course, as many dads, having that stone cold strong face. I knew he was hurting though. I yelled at my parents for the way they treated me Christmas morning, not defending me and texting me guilt tripping messages, also about past similar situations, even about my childhood. They were quite shocked. I never yelled, never reacted this way. And they were actually sorry, like genuinely. They apologized. Then it dropped then I dropped the next big bomb on them. I want a divorce. I am done. You guys were incredibly right. I would die, go insane, or something even worse in that environment. And I see that now. It's like I have a moment of clarity and I had to act now, not to fall back into the old ways. They were, of course, hesitant in the start, but soon came to realize that it was for the best, honestly, everyone. A lot was discussed at their house that it was way too long and complicated to talk about here. So that's what I did. I went and filed for divorce. He, of course, was extremely enraged as I was packing my things at the house with my parents. He kept telling me slurs and hurtful things the whole time, but I knew I had to stay strong. Now, a bit of information on the divorce. Firstly, his parents are rather wealthy. He can easily get amazing lawyers and legal advice and so on. I knew going into this that I would probably not get anything out of the divorce, which was exactly how I went. The house, the cars, and the kids. He wanted it all, but I didn't care. I just want the divorce finalized. If that's his criteria for getting my life back, I'll take it. A long legal battle wouldn't be fair for the kids anyways, and I wouldn't even be able to take care of them if I, for some reason, actually won. I know they will be loved, cared for, and happy with their father, and that is the best I can give them right now. I'll be able to see them once a month if I see fit, though. And for me, that's perfect. I won't describe too much about how saying goodbye to the kids went. Of course, it was absolutely heartbreaking in many ways, but it's too late to look back now. We have explained to them together about what's going to happen, how it's going to be, and so on. The divorce is still being finalized, so technically, I am not completely free. But in spirit, I feel so freaking free. It is as if a weight on my shoulder has been lifted. Of course, I carry the guilt and sadness for my kids deep inside, but I keep telling myself that I did what was best for both them and me. I send them thoughts every day, and I plan on writing them a long letter each about my side of the story. I just want them to understand that none of this is their fault. I currently live with my parents, and I feel a sense of sadness for them too. They will, of course, miss the big family and the kids, but I think they know they had to put me first this time. Of course, they do not agree with everything, but I never expected them to. Talking about my husband's family, on the other hand, my God, the guilt tripping. We know this isn't you. The messages were endless. I simply had to block them in the end. It was too much. When the divorce is finalized, we will let my siblings know as well. I have no idea how they're going to take it. My husband's siblings had just blocked me, which honestly was fine for me. I found out because I kind of imagined they would do something like that and had to check after blocking his parents. I know some people see me as a horrible mother and a person, but for once I choose to listen to my heart with a little push from some people online. Thank you to all you once again. I am at this moment looking at hotels in Spain, just waiting for the divorce to be finished. I am visiting an old friend over there that I haven't been allowed to visit in years. I had a little savings outside my marriage, enough to spend a week or two over there. Luckily, my workplace is owned by a friend that was super understanding, so they let me have a month off to figure out a place to live and have some time for myself. It is as if I'm in a dream and I'm scared of waking up suddenly. I feel like a new woman. Can't wait for the plane ride away from the country, and even if it's just for a while, it will feel as if I'm living a truly new life. I wish you all luck and joy throughout the years. Oh, throughout your lives. Love, lots of love, Alice. Okay, and this is the highly upvoted relevant comments. There are two. The first one says, I am so happy to see this update from you. I read your initial post when you posted it, and my heart felt very heavy. Most people wouldn't have the strength to leave that kind of situation, temporarily on Christmas or permanently like you are now. I wish you success and happiness. The next comment was, oh my God, OP, I'm so freaking proud of you. I remember reading your original post and being so mad that everyone acted like you were the only one who had done anything wrong. Though I'm sorry this ultimately ended in your whole world blowing up. I'm really happy for you that you're finally doing things for you. I really hope you take some time to yourself to work on yourself and get some therapy and just enjoy being you. Honestly, good for you. Just good for you. So that was the story with the update and the relevant comments. And now we're going to read some comments. Oh gosh, I can speak, guys. We're going to read some comments that are on this post. I'll read the top couple. The top one says, strong adult house vibes here. And let's see. And someone said, how did this all happen over 2 weeks? Or I have misunderstood. That just seems like a lot of progress on a divorce in a few days. And someone responded, I think she's predicting what the divorce's outcome is going to be since she heard his demands after she had the paper sent. She won't be fighting him much. Just get rid of him. And so someone commented, in Denmark, you used to be able to file online and be divorced in 10 minutes if you didn't have kids. They made it a tiny bit harder a while back, but not by much. So I guess a lot of people most likely are using their mindsets of what divorce is like is in the US, and it's not that easy to get a divorce in 2 weeks or even 10 minutes like Denmark. The next comment says, I really hope OP gets help. It sounds like her community and culture she was raised in did a number on her and caused a breakdown. Just really sad overall. The next comment said, I knew things were going south when she said she had the second kid to fix everything. Everybody bear this in mind. Having another child does not magically fix a marriage, and the stress of an additional kid may actually make things worse. It also may get worse if the fix-it kid knows they are exactly that. Bonus points if nothing got fixed and they feel like they failed. Just know, don't have a kid to save a marriage. That's not what children exist for. The next comment says, I hope the youngest is able to get therapy so they don't feel like they are the reason their mom left. Next one says, man, that is hell of a wound to leave on those children. I hope we someday have a society where only people who truly, deeply want to raise children end up having them. The next comment says, look, I fully agree she needs to divorce this man and get intensive therapy for what is probably PPD plus regular depression plus emotional abuse fallout. And I also get needing a proper vacation. But is she just going to disappear on her kids forever? Because that's kind of the vibe I'm getting. Uh, and someone responded to that saying, that is why kids are never a compromise. You can't bug someone to have a kid, both male and female. And not supporting her at all, but a lot of the men do this. When they divorce, they walk out of their kids' lives forever. My friend never really saw her dad again after her parents' divorce. So this is another comment. If I could deliver a really important message to the men of the world, it would probably be this. If the woman in your life tells you that she does not want children, believe her. And don't try to pressure her to have kids anyway. It almost never ends well for anyone involved. And this is a response to that. It says, babies aren't magic. I will scream that from the top of my lungs until I lose my voice. There's this persistent expectation that all struggles of pregnancy, childbirth, and parenthood just evaporate when you look into that precious child's eyes. It's complete BS, and it has set a generations of parents up for failure. Babies aren't magic. They don't heal you. They don't fix relationships. And their chubby cheeks and toothless grins are super cute, but they don't make life worth living when you are deeply unhappy. If you're trying to talk yourself or anyone else into having one, don't. Next comment, those poor kids. The next one says, I hope we get an update on the letter she sends to the kids. To my oldest, I hated being your mother from the moment you were born. To my youngest, what you did at Christmas made me realize I'm over this family thing. I hope I know they're being sarcastic, but I pray no one ever sends their child a letter saying that. The next comment says, this is someone who's just going by making random comments. So I'm not relevant. It says, to everyone speculating on whether OP is a deadbeat or a newly empowered woman, why not some of both? Not every story has an objective good guy. And this is a response to that. This is what I was thinking. We don't know anything about these people besides what she says. Everyone immediately says she's right because of her mental health. We know nothing about the man's mental health except he doesn't show emotions and loves kids. We don't know what happened leading up to his and her account. Is there a throwaway? We don't know. Nope. We don't know what happened leading up to this, and her account is a throwaway. I'm not saying anything either. I'm not saying either are right, but Reddit is more biased now than Facebook. Okay, and this is a response to that. You're literally the only person I've seen speculate. Everyone else seems to have landed on, it'll mess the kids up, but she had to do it. I also feel that had this story been written less well, or had the gender swapped, it would have been Am I the Devil material, just to go to show you what you can get people to support if you seem sympathetic enough. So, we're going to read a couple more comments. This is the next one. The kids will be worse off if OP had stayed. At some point, it would have broken her. And with something like this, it happens often enough that all the hate and frustration is taken out on the children. Better a parent who is really there than physically hurt children. Let's read like two more. Ooh, this one's pretty long, so this might be the last one. OP is doing the right thing for herself, but those kids are going to be heartbroken because of this. I know because my mom did the same thing. My dad was not a good husband. I love my dad, but he's stoic and emotionless. He yells all the time. He doesn't know how to calmly explain his emotions. He wanted my mom to be a stay-at-home wife, and mom never really had a life for herself. And in the beginning, that's what mom wanted too. But eventually, my mom got sick of it and left for her own sanity. I understand it now, but it still hurt. I was in junior high/high school and needed my mom, and she wasn't around. Imagine dealing with the father I described above for literally everything. First period, boy troubles, any medical problems, he would just yell about everything. I broke my finger once and never told my dad because I didn't want to be yelled at. He would have taken me to the hospital, but I didn't want to deal with it. My finger healed all wonky and doesn't really bend anymore. OP states that the kids are going to be loved and cared for by their father, but her description of him sounds downright evil. I understand OP needs to take care of herself, and I don't fault her for that, but I doubt those kids are going to come out of this whole thing unscathed. Ooh, great comment. And from her perspective, I think that was a long one. Let's see if there's another short one. Oh, this is a short one, so we'll read this last. It's really sad and frustrating that what cultural expectations do to people. They should never have been together if he wanted kids that much, and she didn't. But now he has the kids, and I hope he has what he wants. All right, so those are the comments, the story. That was story number 1. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. So the next story is Am I the Butthole? Subreddit. The title is Am I the Butthole for Ruining My Husband's Christmas? Question mark. So I'll tell you what Reddit voted after we read the story and go through some comments. It says, my female 29, husband male 33 is the breadwinner, and I'm a stay-at-home mom. We used to both work, but due to medical problems, I couldn't keep working. As a result, I don't have what they call fun money or money to spend however I want. My husband gives me money only to spend on the house or the kids, but that's that. I might borrow money here and there or try to figure something out if I needed essential stuff like hygiene products. This Christmas, my husband gave me $600 as my Christmas gift. I freaked out thinking I now have to get him a decent gift to match his. So I went shopping and got him the most affordable thing on his wish list, which was a $180 pair of sneakers with his favorite color. I didn't show him the gift until we visited his parents' house for Christmas, and when it was time for a gift opening, he opened the gift, saw the sneakers, and looked extremely, extremely upset, like he was about to blow up. I asked what's up, and he asked why in the blue hell I decided to waste money and get him sneakers, aka the cheapest gift on his wish list. I said it's all I could afford, and he literally lashed out and said, BS. I gave you $600. That's about the right price for a new gaming console, and it was right there at the top of my wish list. He said that in front of his parents. It was so awkward. I felt so horrible. I wanted to disappear. But I apologized and said I was sorry, but I had other stuff I needed to buy and money wasn't enough. He took it as I was blaming him for not giving me enough money and picked an argument with me about how wasteful and financially irresponsible I am. Otherwise, I wouldn't be struggling with money for long. I disagreed and said I don't have a salary due to medical issues, not being irresponsible. Also told him he could get the gaming console himself since he has money, but he got all dramatic and ranted about how he wouldn't because then he'll be judged for getting anything for himself. His parents tried to get involved, but he straight up told them how disappointed he was and said that I ruined his Christmas, then went upstairs and avoided talking to me till we got back and the whole argument restarted. He kept repeating that he was disappointed and that I ruined Christmas for him, saying, good job screwing up, even after I pointed out how rude it was of him to react like that in front of his parents. He's wanting an apology at the moment and still upset about what I did. Am I a butthole? And this is an edit before we get into some comments. For the record, he used to own an Xbox, but it got broken like 3 years ago, and he didn't want to get himself a new one, saying that there are more important things to focus on. I get why he was disappointed, but I argued with him about the kids' gifts as well, since that matters too. Also, I bought gifts for family members, so I'm not sure if I was right to do that knowing money is tight. My mother-in-law got an expensive gift from him, and so did the rest of the family. And she just put edit for grammar. So that is the story. What are your opinions before I get into the comments? My initial opinion was like, why is this sounding so much like the previous story? And what is going on? He gave her $600 as a gift. So that wasn't a gift. It was just money for her to buy gifts. Maybe I read that wrong. Before I go off, let me see. I'm just gonna go back to see if it. This Christmas, my husband gave me $600 as my Christmas gift. So her Christmas gift was $600, and she was expected to spend her whole $600 buying you a Christmas gift. That does not sound like a gift. That was money to buy Christmas gifts. It was not a gift for herself, because anything she wants for herself, obviously, that's not a gift. Her gift for herself was to buy him a gift. I don't understand, but we'll read some comments. Not the butthole. Your husband is abusing you. This is literally financial abuse. You deserve money to spend on yourself. Doesn't matter if you don't make a salary, you still do work keeping house. Not only that, but yelling at you like that at all, but especially in front of people, is very abusive. Please look into getting disability or unemployment and get away from him. So that's the first comment. The next one says, absolutely not. I'm also the breadwinner for my family, and if I have gave my significant other money as a gift, that would be her money. If she didn't spend a penny on me, I wouldn't be upset because it was her money. I also tell my significant other to pick whatever she wants for me for Christmas and take it directly out of the checking account, which she has full access to whenever she wants or needs it. You're 100% not the butthole in this situation, and I'm sorry you're going through that. Also, if $180 sneakers is a wasteful spending, then a $600 game console is definitely not what I would consider a cheap, not wasteful gift. Oh, yeah. So this one says, not the butthole. Lady, your husband is financially and emotionally abusing you. So you don't think we're all overreacting? Here's some information on financial and emotional abuse. And the person put two links. One to womansaid.com, and it's an article about what is domestic abuse and / financial abuse. The next article is from safehorizon.org, which is 5 signs of emotional abuse. In a normal relationship where one partner is Reddit has so many acronyms that I don't know what this one is, but I'm going to say this stands for stay at home partner. I think that's what it stands for. The other party's income is shared equally in the household, and both parties are able to purchase what they need. Under no circumstances should you be left borrowing money for personal hygiene products and clothing. Please see if you can access a local women's support service to get yourself out of this situation. Financial and emotional abuse can be a precursor to physical violence. But even if it isn't, you do not have to live this way. Good luck and stay safe. Edit. Thanks for the rewards, everyone, but they really aren't necessary. The best award would be an update from OP down the track telling us she got the help she needed. The next one, it says, you're not the butthole. Your husband is financially abusing you. And they quoted, I might borrow money here and there or try to figure something out if I need a new piece of clothing or essential stuff like hygiene products. He doesn't buy you things you need. What the F? I'm a stay-at-home mom, and my husband gets me anything I need or want. He damn sure wouldn't expect me to use money gifted to me on him. Do not apologize, as you didn't do anything wrong. Your husband sure has. The next one says, not the butthole. So his gift to you was the ability to buy him the gift he wanted. You need to get out now. This sounds highly abusive. The next one says, not the butthole. He's a massive one, though, and is abusing you. Let me say it again. This is financial abuse. You need to get help because you are being abused by your husband. The next comment says, not the butthole. Clear-cut financial and emotional abuse going on here. You have to borrow money to get hygiene products. He's disappointed in you and you ruined Christmas. He gave you $600 early for Christmas and clearly and fully expected you to use all of it on his Christmas gifts for himself. Then the one that was at the top of his list. He's on the top of the a-hole list. Sounds like you don't have kids. I hope you keep it that way and get away from him. You may be eligible for alimony. Please don't feel like you have to stay with him because you can't work. Being alone will be better. And someone responded and say, hey, OP is a stay-at-home mom. So they do have kids. So that comment, not getting away because you got kids. This one, it says, what? Question mark. So the $600 wasn't meant to even be a little bit for you. He gave you $600 as a gift in quotations because he wanted you to physically understand he wanted you to spend it all on him. He is financially abusive. Does he not understand that the money is a marital asset, and half of his money is yours in the event of a divorce? Are his parents ashamed of him? Because they bloody should be. Not the a-hole. Do not apologize again. Demand an apology for him treating you like this. And from now on, you get access to some sensible, uncontrolled spending money. Or you divorce him and he can pay it court ordered. Screw that guy. This says, not the a-hole. Get a lawyer, get a divorce, get half. I'll read a couple more. Not the a-hole. It sounds like he is holding you hostage financially and abusing you verbally and mentally. To do that in front of others is so disrespectful. He holds power over you and is absolutely abusing you. The next one says, what in the domestic violence financial abuse hell did I just read? Why are you waiting for an apology? Get the divorce lawyer stat. We'll read two more. Not the a-hole. It was nice of you to give him a gift. He should appreciate the thought that went into it. It was still on his wish list, right? He seems quite ungrateful. I'm not sure where he expects you to get a gaming console. And the last comment I'll read, it says, not the butthole. He gave you $600 disguised as a present to you, then expected you to spend it all on him. He's definitely an a-hole here. So the overall, I'm sure you can guess, consensus was that she was not the a-hole or the butthole. So what do you guys think? So this story is in the Am I the Butthole subreddit. It's called Am I the Butthole for trying to prevent my wife from going on a tropical Christmas vacation without me. So it goes, oh, and I'll let you know at the end what was the rating. My 31 male wife's 29 female father unexpectedly and tragically died back in 2020. He was deeply loved by his family and friends, and hundreds of people mourned his loss. His absolute favorite holiday was Christmas. He was responsible for bringing the Christmas spirit to the family each year. Because of this, his absence has been painfully noticeable during the past 3 Christmases and has caused my wife's family extreme mental anguish. Therefore, my in-laws recently decided they would leave their cold home during Christmas of 2023 and spend a week in the Caribbean to forget their troubles. My in-laws really like my company, and I have spent the past 7 Christmases with them. I have been invited to join them on this trip, but I am a firefighter/EMT, and it is impossible for me to leave my job for 8 days during Christmas. It will likely always be impossible for me to do such a big trip during the holidays until I retire. My in-laws understand and are saddened that I can't get off work, but have decided to still go on vacation without me. I believe the vacation is a bad idea. It seems as though they're running away from their grief instead of dealing with it in a healthy way, such as therapy, which so far all have refused to participate in. I feel they'll still be miserable and sad on Christmas, but with the change of scenery. I originally tried to be understanding of this trip, but a very close friend, 31 female, of mine, said that her leaving me behind was effed up, which caused me to think a lot more about it. After a few weeks, I finally told my wife that although I knew she was trying to help her mother escape her sorrows, I felt somewhat abandoned and angry since she knew I would never be able to join her on this trip in the first place. I also told her that I felt that this trip was completely in vain and would not achieve any desired results. I asked if there could be a compromise or if the Caribbean really was the only way to cure this sadness. I was told that I should be more supportive, that this trip is a just one-time thing, and that there was no alternative solution to the problem. I said that I didn't like that answer, but was told that this was just the way things are and there's nothing more that can be done. I should point out that I can and likely will spend Christmas with a very close friend and my father's family who all live nearby. So it's not like I'll be left entirely alone for the holidays. However, it's still a bummer to be left behind by my wife on Christmas for a non-urgent reason. I also worried that this could turn into a tradition and that my wife might choose to leave the country every year, leaving me behind every Christmas for the next 25 years until I retire. I don't feel like I have any way to fix this problem, and I have no way to fight it except to say, please don't. I also feel like a real a-hole for trying to stop my wife from trying to take care of her family's 3+ years of emotional trauma. Am I the a-hole? And before we get into the comments, there is an edit. I should point out that my wife regularly goes on vacations with her family without me about 2 or 3 times a year. I'm accustomed to that and am not jealous of her trips. This is not a jealousy issue. It's more about wanting to be with my wife on Christmas and feeling frustrated at her family for not addressing their grief for a death that occurred 3+ years ago, and instead of leaving the country on the holiday. So that is the story. What do you guys think? Um, I'll just tell you a quick story before we get into the comments. I had a family member who passed away recently, and it's been almost 3 years, and it feels like yesterday. 3 years is nothing when it comes to grief. And on their day, um, I had family that went away. Well, after their passing, I had family that went away on vacation to get a change of scenery. Does that stop you from grieving? No, but it does help you to get out of your normal space where that person would normally be. Um, to get away and enjoy some sunshine, to enjoy the beach, to just have a break from your normal day to day or your normal holiday routine where that person would be there and they are no longer there. So it's a thing that families do. So that's just my little 2 cents in this. Let's see what the comments say, and I'll tell you what they voted him at the end. Okay, so the first comment, well, the top comment says, "You're the a-hole. Your friend needs to butt out. You should be happy your wife can celebrate her father with the trip this year. If it starts to become a yearly thing, you can cross that bridge when you come to it." That's true. The next comment says, "You're the a-hole. It's also about OP. This isn't something wife and family are doing to OP as a way of punishing or disrespecting them. They're trying out a fun vacation and change of scenery to attempt to lighten up what has become a dark time of year. OP, don't be a Grinch because your work situation doesn't allow you to join in the fun on this particular trip. It is a huge leap to assume at this point it will become a yearly tradition. In the event it does continue and wife continues to leave knowing how you feel and without taking similar time to vacation with you, this becomes a different story. If, big if, that comes to pass, the ruling changes. Additional a-hole points to the friend making comments to set off OP. I'm probably jaded from reading this sub too much, but I kind of wonder about ulterior motives. The next comment says, this is a quote of OP. It says, "It seems as though they're running away from their grief instead of dealing with it in a healthy way." And this person says, "I actually laughed out loud at that. Rest and relaxation is an unhealthy way to deal with grief? Seriously? Get the F out of here with that ish." The next comment says, "You're the butthole. Who crowns you king on how to grieve?" And this is a quote. "I believe the vacation is a bad idea. It seems as though they're running away from their grief instead of dealing with it in a healthy way, such as therapy, which for all have refused to participate in. I feel they'll still be miserable and sad on Christmas, but with the change of scenery." And the person after they quoted, "You literally cannot attend and want to keep your wife home instead of bonding and supporting your family and herself. Research directs grieving people to create different experiences during a particular holiday, month, event strongly connected to the deceased. It's a grief spike. Yes, they still will be sad. They don't have to go to therapy to appease you. Life is a journey and you don't have to get the big picture. Your job eliminates your participation. So embrace this reality instead of accusing others of not doing X to get over grief." And this one says, "You're the a-hole. It really sucks to be left for Christmas, but they have numbers. So number one, you chose a career that would make this kind of travel difficult. And on the flip side, does your wife just have to wait until you retire to go on trips at Christmas? Two, your close female friend is stirring up drama and you're eating it up. You need to put a stop to that immediately, or you might never spend a holiday with your wife again. Three, I'm assuming you're in the US. If not, disregard. But it sounds like you could go on a portion of this trip even if you can't take the full amount of time off. And it seems odd that you haven't looked into how to make this something that works for both of you. Four, you don't get to police anyone's grief. It's not like this family or wife sounds like they're not functioning. They're just struggling with the time of year that was important to their loved one. We'll read this next one. You're the a-hole. You're giving a handful of excuses for your position. Why not therapy? What if this becomes a pattern? But they're flimsy fig leaves over very obvious jealousy. You can't go. And so you don't want your wife to go? If you have to miss out on one of the great pleasures of life, then your wife must also miss out. Super itchy itty attitude, if you ask me. The next comment, you're the a-hole. Remove head from A. Let your wife be with her dear ones. This one says you're the a-hole. Sorry, but you're the a-hole. You don't get to tell someone how to grieve. You were offered the opportunity to go with them and decline. Yes, you had your reasons, but that doesn't mean they have to put their plans to the side simply because you can't attend. To add to that, you're basically making it sound like you'd be fine with them going if you were able to go with them. That just further supports the idea that you're just being selfish and that it's not about encouraging healthy grieving, which again is neither your job nor your place to judge, but rather about keeping your wife from having fun without you. Do I understand why you don't want to spend the holidays alone? Certainly. But is your reasoning justified? Nope. We'll read maybe 3 more. You're the butthole. It's not up to you how you process grief. Stop trying to hide behind excuses and just admit you're upset that you're being left out. The next one, you're the butthole. I don't think you're an a-hole for feeling left out. But what's the mental gymnastics about this trip being a bad idea? What's the problem at hand the trip won't solve? That they're sad and miss their dead loved one? Because going on a vacation and seeing novel scenery is actually a great way to get out of your own head and enjoy your life when you've been dealing with grief. Next comment says, you're the butthole. There's a lot of me in your discussion, and I can't really see where you are a victim here. Your female friend is not giving you good advice. And I'll read the last 2 comments. You're the butthole. Different people need they have A and B. A, different people need different things, different times, and ways of dealing with grief, not to mention any other problems that come up in their life. It's not necessarily an escape to what they're doing. The options to be limited, nothing, or therapy. B, I'm shall we say, skeptical that you can't take an extended time off ever. In my experience, people making that claim are usually vastly overinflating their own necessity at work. But let's say that this is true and you've never going to have this option to take a vacation until retirement. Given your age, I'll be ultra generous and say 25 years. Do you really think it's reasonable to ask your wife to live by the same rule set? Did you tell her this before you got together? That you're never going to have a week off for the rest of your career? This one says you're not the butthole. Oh no, you are the butthole. Sounds like your very close female friend is planning on spending Christmas with you after she causes a huge fight between you and your wife. If you're smart, you will stop letting your close female friend give you marital advice. And this is the last one we'll read. Sorry, buddy. You are most definitely the a-hole. Go back and review what you wrote and stop right before you get to the part where your close female friend gets into your head. That's actually the effed up part. The fact that you were so easily influenced by your friend's comment. Up until that point, you sounded like you were grieving a bit too. But then you flipped a switch and made it about you. You can't dictate how people grieve. And sometimes, yeah, you need a complete change of pace, something completely new and unknown. Why would you begrudge your wife this chance to start healing? And stop playing the what if game. What if she does this every year? Seriously. And I do mean seriously. You really think that 25 years can pass and your job stays the same? Your constraints are the same? Her grief stays the same? Of course you don't think that. So just stop. You're reaching and it shows. All of that aside, thank you for being a firefighter. So those are the comments, and the overall vote, I'm sure you guessed, was you are the a-hole or the butthole. So what do you guys think of this story? I think that's the last one I'll read for this video, and I'll save the other stories for another video. But I hope you continue to enjoy my crocheting until the end as we finish the month of November.